So we are here today to talk about what happened during the labor. So unfortunately for us, literally nothing went according to plan. So it all started on, I think,
Saturday night.
Basically, I gave birth on a Monday, but from Saturday, like 3 a.m, I started feeling contractions. What time did I wake you up? About 5?
I think 4 plus 5.
About 4 plus 5 was when I woke him up and I was like, hey, I'm having contractions 5 minutes apart at that point of time. The reason why we went to the hospital is because one of the conditions in which we were going to the hospital was when it was 5 minutes apart-ish for 1 minute long in terms of contractions for 1 hour. I woke my mom up and we all proceeded to go to the hospital. However, when we were at the hospital was when
They said that you could go back and come back again when contractions are more closer
together. Also because I wasn't dilated yet, the cervix was still closed. They figured we still have a little bit of time. They told us to go home, asked me to take a walk, do some squats and come back, right? Then it brings us to Sunday. So after 1 full day of literally just non-stop contractions, on Sunday about 1:30, I got woken up by contractions again. So I actually didn't sleep much throughout the entire time I had contractions because it hurt and it sort of woke me up and kept me awake. So I decided to do some like curb walking exercises, which was what I learned from birthing class to sort of help dilate. I woke him up at 3 and said, hey, by the way, we're back to being 5 minutes. And I actually recorded every single time I had a contraction just to be super sure that I was indeed having a contractions within a 5-minute interval of each other.
We went to the hospital again.
But the good thing is that this time I was 2 centimeters dilated. Which was good news because it meant that something was progressing. So they gave us the option to A, go home again, or B, stay in the hospital until we were ready for active labor, because I was scheduled to induce labor anyway on Monday at 9 a.m. Went to the delivery suite and I'm dilating for like 2 centimeters. Pretty manageable cramping and contractions for now. Labor is in the process of going and moving forward. And we are here at NUH with Daddy's bed, and this is my bed. They had to insert the needle on my hand on the side, so my left thumb is kind of like immobile, which kind of sucks. Guess I'm gonna just take a nap, get as much rest as I can without being woken up by pains, so that we are ready when active labor is ready. Praying so hard that we will get through this without pain relief. We decided to get water, try to get as much sleep as possible, but again, because I was having contractions, I wasn't able to sleep and I just ended up waking up due to contractions, walking it off, doing my breathing exercises, eating at the hospital, had my breakfast while having contractions, continued walking, did some squats using the help of the bed, and just basically tried to do whatever exercise I could to help expedite the dilation process so that we could go into active labor. So again, 1 whole day of contractions, unable to sleep properly or rest properly, and then it came to Monday where we were scheduled to be induced. I was scheduled to be induced and I was 3 centimeters dilated after 1 full day of contractions. The doctors at the delivery suite basically gave us 2 options. The first one is that there is a potential that we need to be induced anyway, and the second one was we just burst the water bag because we are at the stage where we can do that and it will sort of expedite labor a little bit. They brought me into the proper delivery suite to sort of wait for the dilation, burst the water bag and further dilate. That was when all hell broke loose. So when you're in the delivery suite, what happens is that they will start monitoring the heart rate of the baby as well as your contraction timings and your contraction intervals. For the first couple of hours, no sort of pain relief whatsoever because I was a little bit too stubborn and I did whatever I could to stick to my original birth plan as much as possible. So no epidural, not even laughing gas. And I just endured the pain for as long as I could. It came to a point of time where 1 hour into monitoring baby's heart rate, suddenly there were like 5 to 6 people in the delivery suite. There were like 2 to 3 doctors along with 2 to 3 nurses. Everyone was just plugging things into me, into my drips. I suddenly was wearing an oxygen mask out of nowhere. They were looking at the graph really closely and I was just like, what is happening? But I was in so much pain that I couldn't really like understand what was happening also.
But I guess what they did was they sort of injected something that allows her to stop contraction, to not stress the baby out too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Take a pause.
Yeah, I think it's about 30 minutes. If I'm not wrong, I'm not too sure of the time.
Yeah, about 20 to 30 minutes of a pause.
So it's to help the baby to recover, to give it some rest.
Yeah.
And they were monitoring that as well.
In the delivery suite now, it's been a very emotional morning. Time now is 11:30. The last we checked at about 9 a.m, 10 a.m. I was at 4 cm, so we managed to bust the water bag and to sort of expedite it. I'm having like a drip on me.
Because previously what they tried doing was expedite the contractions with a different kind of drip just so that, you know, dilation and contractions can help push the delivery and make the delivery a little bit faster as well.
But the thing is that I think baby's not reacting very well to the contractions, so we are currently monitoring. Hopefully I don't have to go in for a C-section, but if all goes well, I'll probably give birth by the evening. So right now, that's the blood pressure machine. So right now we and I are just, you know, praying that as long as baby comes out healthy, if we really have to do a C-sec, then just so be it, you know.
But all that stopped because baby's heart rate dropped.
Whenever there's
a contraction. Yeah, so they had to pause the contraction.
They wanted to see a graph of 1 hour and to see his progress. And
in that span of time, what happens if certain things were like that. For the first 3 hours, they were just monitoring and they were like, okay, you know what? It's dropping, but it is bouncing back after the contraction. So let's just monitor for a while more, because where we were doing our delivery, they are true believers of natural birth. So as much as possible, they will not get you to opt for a C-section until it's absolutely necessary, especially if you are someone who is set to deliver naturally. However, the biggest problem was that it meant that I have to adjust my labor positions to suit baby, to suit what he needed throughout the entire process, right? I wanted to stand because my back was hurting so much from the contractions, but it took them a while to even say okay to me standing because they had to
monitor you.
Yeah, they needed me to be in a very fixed position to monitor, okay, if Amanda is in this position, how would baby react? And they had to monitor it for an hour at a time. So I had to endure the contractions for an hour at a time in the most uncomfortable position because my back was hurting, my butt was hurting, everything was just hurting because everything was contracting. All my joints were just like gone at this point. Everything was just hurting, everything was just pain. And I was just breathing through it, doing my best to keep as still as possible, and I was like, no, I can't, I really need to stand. I called for the nurse at the delivery suite and I said, can you assist me to stand? Then they checked with the doctor says, okay, just let her stand for a little while. And when I stood up, baby's heart rate immediately dropped. They were like, okay, Amanda, you cannot stand up, I'm so sorry, you need to sit back down so that we can further monitor baby's heart rate. And I was like, but I'm really uncomfortable. And the nurse said one thing to me that really struck. It's either baby's uncomfortable or you're uncomfortable. You have to choose. And so I was like, okay, for baby's sake, I needed to just remain uncomfortable for a bit. I tried the all-fours position when I was in the delivery suite as well because the doctor said it was okay. I just tried my best to hold my body weight as much as I could while being in pain and breathing through the contractions, but baby's heart rate still continued to fall, right? And then after a while,
she asked for epidural.
Because I kind of have no choice.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Ada long waiting for time to pass.
Are you a bit traumatized by just now?
Too many things going on, man. There are like 5 people inside the room.
You looked very stressed for someone who wasn't going through any pain at all.
I think if you were me, you also would look stressed.
It's true.
At about like 4 p.m. and this was for 7 hours after the water bag burst, right?
I said that you're not dilating enough. It's currently at 5 cm.
Yeah.
And
it went on the stall. So dilation was at a halt because they kept needing to pause the contraction so that baby wouldn't be distressed, so that baby's heart rate would not drop so much and he could recover a little bit more. But it was like a balance. Do you induce the contraction, continue pushing for it so that you can dilate, or do you hit the pause button
so that baby could recover and have some rest?
And then it got to a point where his heart rate was
50, 40
it was
plus to
below
50.
way below what was desired, and he couldn't bounce back fast enough in terms of heart rate within the hour.
Yeah, I think because of the prolonged
labor
that causes him to be
be
a bit more
distressed.
tired. And eventually at about 5, they came in and they said, look, we're going to stop doing what we're doing. We're going to pause your contraction, and I guess the way that we can do is to go through a Caesarean.
Any emergency C-section, because if they continued the contraction and the whole cycle that they did throughout the day, meaning to say they pause the contraction and then wait for baby's heart rate to go back up and then they restart the contraction,
too long.
if he has to go through the distress again, he might not be able to last all the way through. So they had to completely stop the labor.
Not stop, but
Slow down.
Yeah,
Slow it down.
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down the contraction and try to hit pause on the contractions again so that he could recover while we wait for our personal doctor to come to attend to us. Previous doctors that were attending to us were the doctors that were at the delivery suite who were specialized in obstetrics, as well as another specialist that came in to speak with us. While waiting for our doctor to come in or our doctor to speak with us, it was the most heart-wrenching 45 minutes I've ever been through in my entire life.
Yeah. But I guess at the end of the day, we know that we are in good hands. And, the reason why they called for it was because baby is still safe, he's okay. But if they were to prolong this, it would lead into something a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
So
and they cannot predict what would happen if they were to prolong it further.
Yeah. So I guess it's good that they came in with the expertise to sort of guide us and tell us that, okay, now they should stop and we should slowly move into C-sec. They have
some breathing space to prep me really, really quickly before they have to deliver the baby. After we spoke to our obstetrician, he said on the phone, okay, Amanda, we're going to have to go for emergency C-sec. I will be the one doing the surgery. Then are you okay with it? We need you to consent.
Yeah, but the thing is...
and then I was like, Prof, if you think that that's the best solution for this entire situation, then I trust you. Then he said to me, if you can come up with something better, please let me know. After that, they immediately prepped me for surgery, got me to sign all the various consents, again explained to me the risk of a cesarean section because it is considered a surgery. It's not your regular delivery anymore. There needs to be, incisions being made to your entire body. They prepped me for the whole thing and they started injecting me with more epidural as I approached the operating theatre. Some people will get what we call epidural jitters. For me, my epidural jitters were really, really, really bad. Even when I was in the delivery suite, because I'm cold, I'm already in pain and I had to do the epidural. So while I was experiencing contractions, that was actually when they put the needle into my back for the epidural injection to flow. During the shift from the delivery suite to the operating theatre, they will tell you you have to pump more epidural so that we can completely numb it. Meaning to say that you will not feel anything all the way up to your chest. Throughout the entire operation, Wen was there with me near my head. I was shaking like uncontrollably. I could not control myself. So Prof Biswas walks in after I was completely prepped for surgery. I had the anesthesia, which is epidural. I also had some antibiotics injected into me, and FYI, it hurts when it goes into the IV drip for those people who are going to have C-sec and they have to inject some antibiotics into you just so that you don't get an infection when you are being cut open. It sounds very scary, but basically that's what it's for. Now, for those people who have never been in surgery before, when you are on epidural while doing a Caesarean section, you are awake. So you are fully aware as to what is going on. The only difference is that you cannot feel the pain. The doctors and the anesthetists were just preparing me for that mentally and say, you're gonna feel a little bit of pulling and tugging, but you should not feel the pain. So they will take this ice block, they'll put it on your arms, so this is what it's supposed to feel like. Then they'll put it on your abdomen as well as your legs. Can you feel this? The answer is you technically can. It's whether or not you can feel the coldness of it that makes a difference in terms of whether or not you have the painkiller properly released and blocking the right receptors to block off like the surgery pain. He sat at the head with me, just held my hand as much as possible. Yeah, he was like, the end is near. He was like, you're doing good, okay, don't worry so much.
Yeah, she's doing good. And then everything was done within, I don't know, it was really
within the first 2 minutes of surgery, baby was out.
Maybe not the first 2 minutes.
Okay, maybe not the first. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it was really fast.
It was shorter than we had expected.
Yes, he started tearing because it was like, it's been 65 hours ever since I started having my contractions. So all in all, baby has experienced 65 hours of contractions. I mean, the poor kid, poor me, but I have epidural, you see. So after baby was delivered, naturally, Prof Biswas will have to stitch me back up. So he went to attend to the baby. And that was when you found out that
he pooped.
Yeah. While he was inside.
Yes, yeah. Everything was happening so fast.
Yeah.
And it was really, really blurry. But all I've asked was, is baby alright? They said that he's alright, but he pooped.
If your baby poops and your baby inhales the poop while inside the womb still, it can be very dangerous because they might get like some infection of like the lungs.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
And they had to suck out, I think, the
whatever he might have inhaled.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after that, they took him back to the delivery suite.
I had to go to the recovery unit. Yeah. So that was when both of us were separated.
I had to follow him to the delivery suite, and they had to introduce oxygen into him, and they were monitoring his heart rate and his oxygen level for about 1.5 hours.
They sort of like put the oxygen supply of him and sort of left him there to inhale the oxygen. Yeah. And then he was just like, why is nobody attending to my son? So he had to go and ask the nurse, like, is anything happening?
What the nurse told me was, if there's not a crowd around you and you're leaving baby there, everything should be fine.
Because the more people are attending to the patient means the more medical attention that the patient would technically actually need.
Thank God, after 1.5 hours, I think he was pretty stable. He could go back and meet his mama at the end of everything.
On my end, because I was at the recovery room after operations, basically where they monitor you, make sure that the side effects of the anesthesia slowly are wearing off, that you are not having any fever or any form of rejection or infection immediately after the surgery. It took about 2 hours for the epidural to wear off me, separated from him, separated from our son, and I had no phone. with me. So I had absolutely no idea what was happening with baby medically. I had no idea what was happening with him emotionally as well. The only thing that kept me going was, in order for me to go see my son, I need to show that the side effects of the anesthesia is wearing off. So I did whatever I could within my willpower to try to stop the jitters. I tried to control the jitters as much as possible from my neck down. And number 2, I tried to move my feet as much as possible. After 2 hours, they finally said, okay, it seems like your symptoms are wearing off, so we can finally send you back to the ward. I was like, hooray, because I really want to see my son. So they pushed me all the way back up to the ward. When I was there, I did not know what was happening. I did not know how long it would take for my son to come up. I did not know where he was. I did not know anything. And I was alone. And I couldn't reach the TV remote. So I just lay there for a while. Suddenly, a glimmer of hope appeared. And then he came in for a while and I asked him, where's baby? Is he okay? And he was like, yeah, he's fine. He's just coming up. Just wait for a while. Yeah.
I think when they pushed them from the delivery suite into the ward that she's staying at, they had to do some checks before they are able to, I don't know, like put like the tags and things like that before they are able to wheel him to her.
Yes.
And yeah, that was
because they technically have to check him into the nursery at our ward, because they have to tag the mom to the son to the bed. So that there's no like switch at birth situation. And then after that, they wheeled him over to me. I saw baby for the first time. And we had some skin-to-skin contact because that was what we wanted right from the get-go, but we could not have because he needed medical attention immediately after the surgery. So we were reunited as a family, finally, for the first time. I think the moral of the story is you can have a birth plan, but your birth plan can just go straight out the door. As a mother, I felt I had to do whatever it takes to save my son. And it's not about the birth plan anymore. As annoying as it is to try to recover from a C-section, which was something that I was very much not prepared for. I don't think you were very prepared for it as well. Yeah, because we were very true believers in, Amanda's got this, you know, she can deliver naturally, it's not going to be a problem. The C-section was something that's not expected because it also meant that I couldn't really stand up. I still can't really stand up very quickly while recovering from this. And it means that he has to step up a little bit more in terms of caring for the baby, because he can attend to baby much more immediate than me as of now. I still try my best. Hopefully we will be videoing much more of his many firsts that we will be having. He always insists that he wants to feed his son with a lemon, which he will do in the later stages of his life, probably when he's like
2 months old.
No, you can't. No,
six.
Yes.
After 6.
Yes. But for now, as you can see, we are not in our regular home. This is actually Momly Love. We will be staying here on confinement for a next 28 days. To all mothers who are delivering soon, I think it's not easy. I thought it would be a lot easier than what I actually experienced, but I guess that's not really the case anymore. It's really changed my perspective of delivery as a whole.
You can plan as much as you want, but sometimes things may not
go according to plan.
So don't plan too much. Just enjoy. Enjoy your life.
Enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process.
Embrace the labor, because it's really not very long-lived. I'm just very glad that I had a good labor partner with me. Even though he didn't really know what to do, and I was like screaming at him all the time. I was like, massage my back now!
I put earplugs.
More to come as we learn to become parents. And if you guys have any further questions about C-section or about birth plans or about our labor story, my labor story,
don't ask too much questions. Just go with the flow.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, watch my latest video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye!